What's going on, everyone? It's Corey and Jack here from the Breakevens, giving you another podcast today. Jack, do you want to say hello to everybody?
Hi guys.
So, round 14 is over. Three bye rounds are down, one to go. Pretty excited to see the end of the bye rounds. It's been pretty hectic, if I do say so myself. Even though I had a good start, I've fallen off quickly in the last couple. But we'll get into that very, very soon. Just before we get into it, I'm starting to lose my voice. So if I sound like I'm going through puberty again or I need to cough here and there, I apologize for that. Haven't had a good run with sickness lately, but let's get into the socials. As the first one, there we go. Let's go into Twitter. You can find us on Twitter at Breakevens Pod. We've got 460 followers over there. So we're 40 away from the magical 500 that we are looking for. So if you haven't yet, make sure you go over there and give us a follow. We've got a whole bunch of content over there that you'll have links to, like this podcast, like our Twitch streams. And very soon it'll be starting back up. Our FPL league will be starting up in a couple weeks. You've got that. And we've been talking all about the Ashes and bagging the Poms, basically. So get around the
Yeah.
Aussies, but get around us. Make sure you hit that follow button. Again, it's the Break Evens Pod. On YouTube, the Break Evens, you search for us, you'll find our logo. We haven't been able to do our YouTube shorts as of late because we've been pretty busy, Jack. June and July is pretty busy for us because it seems every family member of ours has a birthday. So we haven't been able to do them. So hopefully, the next couple of weeks we can get back into them. But we've got our podcast over there anyway that you can listen to. So hit that subscribe button on the road to 200 subscribers. We are on Facebook at the Break Evens Pod. We've got a Facebook page there that we post out our content. Everything that's on our Twitter goes onto there. And we also post in the Serious Super Coaches Facebook page as well. So most of our posts go into that group as well. So if you haven't, like and follow us on Facebook and get all of our content there as well. And finally, we have our Twitch account where every two to three times a week we get over there and we stream. I've been doing my AFL manager mode over there. After this podcast, we've got to hit up some Rocket League. So give us a follow over there and you'll be notified every time we go live and jump in, talk footy, talk super coach, talk cricket, talk whatever you want, as long as it's positive and not negative or abusive. So find us at the Break Evens on Twitch. I got through that without coughing too much, Jack. So let's see how you went last week.
Well, I had 17 play.
Yep.
So that's one under, but I knew that going in because the trades I did brought in two players who had to buy, but it was more for one this week and further on no players I were looking for and players I had to get rid of to bring them in. So I just went for it.
Yep.
One of the 18 was good old Jack Buller, who scored a massive 17. So that was great.
Yeah, that was, wasn't
And
it?
good to see. I did say I did it. I was doing a risk with my vice captain, which I put on Jeremy Cameron. I had a feeling Geelong were going to win, and for them to win, I felt like the ball would have gone through him a lot, which there were plenty of chances to get him the ball, but they just decided to kick to 4v1s in the advantage of Port Adelaide.
Yep.
So that's nothing I can control. But then I had my captaincy on Noah Anderson, who was on 70 at halftime, and Shurju goes, you know what? You're the one player on our team that's actually performing. Let's chuck you forward for the second half. Like, what?
Yeah, stiff.
So he was looking at a massive 140, and I was like, here we go. But he got 106.
And at least he still got you a ton.
He did get the ton, but going in before I decided, let's risk it to try and jump in the ranks. I had my vice captain on Dunkley, who's got 137. Then I had my captaincy on the Bond, who had 169.
Yep, that happens.
And if we look, that's over 100 more to Jeremy Cameron as my vice captain. Um, I did drop 6,753 ranks, which that was expected when I took the risk, and the risk didn't pay off with the one less player. Um, Trades this week, if I get them back up, I've used three, and it's Eddie Ford, Bailey Humphrey, and Liam Baker going out, which Liam Baker actually played a ripper of a first half until the rain came, and then he went quiet again, which I was very happy with his score. 20 higher than his last 4 weeks, which is great. But my ins is Ryan Merrick, so that's Ford down to Merrick to get the 152k. And then I've
Yep.
gone Humphrey to Darcy Cameron. Looking around that price, 460 to 400k, he seemed the safest.
Yep.
I was looking risky with Dylan Moore, and was it Tom Hawkins? I think it was.
Yeah.
Um, and I've gone nah. Let's go Dessa Cameron. We need two Camerons in the forward line, not one. Get all the Camerons, I said, which allowed me in defense to get the best defender this year. And I know you're going to sit there and say, Dacos is averaging more. Yes, he is.
Yep.
But he's the best because you said he was an avoid round one, and he's still averaging 108. And that is my boy, Lukey Ryan.
Yeah. Well, have fun when he scores you a 60 this week, Jack.
Who is the ultimate bargain, in my opinion. At 500k, averaging 108, that is 110k cheaper than what he would be. With
Nah.
108 average,
Nah.
108 average, you'd be at least 600k. Sicily 639 for like 112 average.
Yeah, but um, it all depends on magic number and where they were to where they are now. So he would have had a high break even, had a few lower games. So that's why he's down
Oh
there.
yeah, but
But if you
108 average for 500k is a massive bargain, is what I'm getting at.
no, because if you look at the midfield at 500k, you're probably getting roughly the same, maybe a little bit under, maybe like a 95.
Midfield at 500k, highest price. You are getting a 93 to an 85 average, with Mark Blitzars and Ollie Wines the closest to it.
Yeah, I mean, it, but if you look, Luke Ryan's gone 93 in the last 3 rounds and 89 in the last four, so that actually makes sense. He's been going 93 and his average is around those of 93.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that average of 108, look at everyone around him. He's up by 10 points minimum
Yeah, but
on season average. So
recent
it's a
form though.
bargain.
Anyway, how many trades do you have left for
Two.
the season? Two trades left. Full primo or you still one away?
I'm technically full primo as everyone's over 400k.
Yep.
The cheapest is Ben Keys at 418, with
Yep.
he's playing full mid, so it was a choice that I made to bring him in for that spot.
Yep.
So I'd say I'm full primo as everyone's at primo price, even if it's on the lower end.
Yep.
Um, there's no mid prices in my starting lineup, so I'd say I am.
Yep. Nice. Nice. All right. Well, I'll get into my team. So I scored 1,920, which unfortunately means I dropped 296 ranks. So 2 weeks ago, I was ranked 274. Pardon me. those numbers have mumbled and jumbled around. I'm now 742. Um, so not great. Um, brought in Himmelberg last week and he scored a 72, but that was because the ball didn't go down there in the second half. So that's excused. Apart from that, the big letdowns was Buller with 17 and Eddie Ford scored, was it like a 38 or something?
Yeah, something like.
Yeah, so those were the two letdowns. I did have the VC on Josh Dunkley, which worked out. But it was annoying because I did have the captain on Bond, so I missed out on 30 odd points there. But the way I look at it is 95 to 99% of people would have taken that Dunkley VC anyway. It would have been those who went, sorry, Tom Stewart. Um, they're probably the ones that would have got that Bond score. So um, my trades, I'm using three trades. The first one is, sorry, Eddie Ford out for Ryan Marriage, same as you, Jack. Um, Sam Sturt and Bailey Humphrey out. And I've done some DPP swings and I've brought in Jasper Fletcher. He's a bench player for me. I've gone earlier the one game. And at the moment, I've got Clayton Oliver, but he is not playing this week. So I have to try and figure out what I want to do. Do I reverse that trade, keep Humphreys, and then get Oliver next week, or do I go a primo this week? So that's what I'm looking at the moment. Um, I look to have 18 players this week, maybe 19, depending on selection. So, um, in a good spot there. All right, now we're going to quickly go through the break even side. We scored 1738. Looking, um, we took the Dunkley VC, 137. Had Eddie Ford, who scored a 30. George Wardlaw, a 46. Hillberger, 72. And we were actually one or two players down. So I think we actually only had 16 players, maybe. So, yeah, the all the rookies going out last week destroyed us. So, um, we haven't really thought about trades this week. Our rank has gone outside the top 10K. We're 13,825 at the moment. So that's something we need to work on, but we'll let you know next week what our trades are. So that's going to take us to our discussion points. Our first one, Jack, this is someone you've thought about bringing in possibly this week or maybe next week. And that is Nick Martin from Essendon Football Club. He's a mid forward at 531K, averaging 91.7 at the moment, but 129.3 over the last three rounds and 111 the last five. So, do you want to go through your thoughts on Nick Martin first, mate?
Well, he's not anymore. When I first looked at him, he was in 200 squads, which I think was 0.6% of teams. Don't quote me on that. It's somewhere around there. And
Sounds
he was
sounds about
around,
right.
and he was at around 450K. Um, and I was hoping to jump on him then
Yep.
because I was looking for the ultimate pod, and trying to like making that risk to jump in the ranks. Sadly, injuries cost me with a couple of players actually who have gone on to dominate since I looked at picking them up. Injuries ruined it. And then he come out with I think it was 111 or 112 in the Dreamtime game. and then there was another 100. Then it was not last week, the week before, because last week they had the bye. Um, he was best on ground, scored like 150, 140, and then
139.
everyone's jumped on him. Um, the worry with people is Darcy Parish. Um, I'm not like I can't get him in now. I tried last week. It was my play to get him in, but I couldn't. So it was safer to bring in Luke Ryan instead. So I've missed out on him, but I think it's a great pickup. People worry about Parrish and a role change. His role hasn't changed too much with Parrish out the team. He's still on that wing, but his form improved massively. Um, Even before Parrish came in, I'm pretty sure he was still getting around 20 touches a game. He just wasn't getting as damaging kicks as he is without Parrish. And obviously, I'm pretty sure disposal efficiency would have played a part. Last couple of weeks, it looks like he hasn't missed a target. So I wouldn't worry about Parrish with a role change. I'd more worry about where he gets the ball. But with him in best and fairest form, I don't want to say Brownlow form because he's nowhere near that. In the best and fairest form, clearly been the most impactful Essendon player going forward. You could
Zach
argue
Merritt.
Merritt as well. I was going to say you can argue Zach Merritt as well. They've been they've been pretty similar. Obviously Merritt's kicked more goals, and he's gotten 15 odd more touches a game. But Nick Martin's effectiveness to hit a target in the forward 50 has ultimately boosted his score, but also his speed, getting it in the middle of the ground on the wing and being free to run has also helped him out. I think it's a great pickup if you're still looking for a pod. Um, but there's people around him. If you've got the cash, not much more expensive that probably have a safer role. Not safer role. His role safe. Safer scoring potential because he's shown with Parish he's not as consistent as without Parish. But I still think he's a great pod. Don't rule him out because of Parish. It just makes it a little bit more of a risk.
Yep. And this has been a discussion point in our group chat um, a fair bit on Nick Martin. So um, Parrish, I'm pretty sure he got injured in round 7, or was it round 8? It might have been round 8 against us. So his first 8 scores 80, 49, 88, 97, 72, 60, and then a 127 versus Geelong, and then a 64 against Port. Basically, playing more of a forward pocket push up to the wing role, and that was all with Parrish in. When Parrish went out, he moved onto the wing, and you've seen scores of 84, 83, 120, 129, and 139. Now, I went and looked at the heat maps, and his 4 scores over 100, so the 127, 120, 129, 139. He's been playing wing, but he's been playing central. So he's been starting on the wing and then moving and playing the corridor, where all those scores under 100, he's either been in the forward line or he's been on the wing, but been getting the ball mostly on the outer. So um, what happens when Parrish comes in? Does he play that more central wing role, or does he play that outer wing role? I don't think he gets pushed forward. I think he pushes forward from the wing, but I don't think he starts there and then pushes up. Can he continue this scoring? It's going to be tough. I think. So it's a 3 round average of 129. Now, I do think he gets pushed out. I do think he does get pushed wider, unfortunately. So I think you can maybe see him go a 90 to 95 average at best. But it's for me, it's too pardon me, it's too risky to go Nick Martin. I feel if Parrish was out for the rest of the season, I'd probably be looking at him because his potential is it's crazy. But he still has that low floor because of role changes. So for me, it's a no to Nick Martin. But if you're really desperate and you don't think his role's going to change too much, I say why not?
Can I just chuck something else in there?
You can.
There's still one Essendon midfielder that went out the same week as Parrish, who plays centrally in Will Setterfield. So we
Yep.
can see with Will Setterfield still out that he still plays a similar role even with Parrish in, because
Yep.
everyone's talking about Parrish, but what they're forgetting is Setterfield went out at I'm pretty sure the exact same week.
Yeah, but
And
different.
he was the central bull for Essendon. He was the one who did not leave the centre square.
Yeah, but
Um,
two different roles. Setterfield's the defensive midfielder. Parrish does not do anything defensive. So
I'm
the
just saying he
the
was the one positioned most central out of the midfielders in open play. With him out, we could still see Nick Martin be central.
yeah, it's a
It's
tough one.
it's too hard to predict, but there's so many possibilities. We could see him play forward pocket next week. We just
Yeah,
don't know what Brad Scott's doing. We don't think he will because he's been in best and fairest form the last 5 odd weeks. People are saying arguably the best winger in the comp at the moment because of it. Um,
yeah,
so I don't see the role change happening. There is a little glimmer of hope that he keeps the same role we've Setterfield out. Setterfield being out, on me mentioning that, it's not saying that it's 100% certain. I'm saying there's a better chance.
yeah, yeah. No, I think he still plays that wing role. Just depends if he plays more central or not. Um, all right, we'll move over to the last player that we're going to talk about, and you had this man VC last week. We're going to talk about Jeremy Cameron. So 438K, average of 94.6, 3 round average of 80, and 5 round average of 73.6. What are your thoughts, comments, and concerns, seeing that you are an owner?
I'm not worried. The way he played on the weekend, obviously, he take away his disposal efficiency. The areas he was in and that he looked like he could have had 20, 25 touches and a few goals. It's the way Geelong play that's going to affect him. He's a key forward that is in the forward 50 and outside forward 50 that is running in, running up and being another midfielder. There was multiple times where he was on the outer, Geelong got the ball and they bombed it forward. They didn't look for the handball across to see him there open to get a kick forward. They just bombed it forward. It's like they were playing in panic mode. It was like last week, the 53 people like, oh no, you can't. If you watch the game, it did not look like a Geelong football game.
Yeah,
It looked like they didn't know what to do. It looked like they were panicking. They were just trying to get it forward and praying for the best. Um, when Geelong play at their best and they're smart with their ball movement and that, we can see him easily score 130 plus. There's been a couple occasions this year where he's gone 25 touches and 3 goals or
one
2 goals
149 and 156 super coach points.
in those games. It's just he's got the perfect key forward role, I think is the way to put it. It's just how the team utilize it. and seeing people seeing the 53 worrying, probably trading him out with if they already had him, seeing that score. If they watch the game, there's promising signs as long as Geelong play the smart footy they're known for. Um, so for me, there's no worries at all with Jeremy Cameron. There's nothing that's affecting him except for his team. There was even 3/4 time last week. People all over were saying that Brad Scott was ripping into him at 3/4 time.
Chris
That
Scott.
was the Yeah, Chris Scott. Sorry, I get them mixed up. They were saying that they were ripping into him, but they've both come out and said no. He was promoting me to keep pushing up, but even though I wasn't being used, to keep being in those areas, because if we get it to you, we're most likely going to score
And
goal or point.
he's usually a good field kick. He just had a really
He's a
off day.
he's a brilliant field kick for a key forward. You don't see many key forwards that are a great field kick. Um, And we saw in the last quarter as well, the one time they went to him was like in the last 2 minutes, found Tom Hawkins with two free defenders around him straight on the tip. Tom Hawkins missed the goal from right in front, 45 odd meters out, which doesn't help, but that was a promising sign. If he's
Yeah,
able to do that 10, 15 times, there's most likely going to be at least 5 goals kicked,
yeah,
at least, which is extra points. And if that happens, you're seeing the scores of 110 plus for a key forward
yeah,
consistently. So I wouldn't worry about Cameron and his role. You're just hoping Geelong come out and play Geelong football, not this worry, scary, scared type of football they have the last couple of weeks in this losing streak.
yeah. I actually like Cameron as a pod option. What's he in?
It's like
Um,
2.8 or something like that.
yeah, yeah. He's not in a lot of sides at all. Um, one thing to mention going forward is this: he's got 10 games left, Jack. 6 of them are at GMHBA.
You'll love to see it.
Um, we knew going into the season that Geelong wouldn't get much home games. They've had one, two, three in the first 14 games. Well, sorry, 13 games because they had the round 13 bye. Um, so that's not a lot, and they've got 6 of the last 10 at home. I think he could go big. They've got Melbourne this week.
Where's that
Um,
being played?
GMHBA. Then they have Sydney, the SCG. Then North Melbourne, Essendon, both at GMHBA, where you can go off. Brisbane at the Gabba, Freo at GMHBA, Port at GMHBA, Collingwood at MCG, St Kilda at Marvel, and Bulldogs at GMHBA. So I think really, apart from Brisbane at the Gabba, I'd expect him to go 90 plus in all those games. Even this week against Melbourne, I think it's a good matchup for him. And I think they'll be looking to use him a bit more. So his run home looks good. 53 is his lowest score for the season. He went at 12% disposal of
Disposal efficient.
efficiency. But he's also gone 149, 156, 119, 106, 107. And for most part, he's been around that 80-point mark.
Yeah.
He's dropped below with a 66, a 62. 77's pretty close, and then the 53. So I think he's a 95-point average player for the rest of the season, maybe even a bit more because of those home games. So if you wanted to mix things up, I would probably look to Cameron at 438K. All right, well, that's all of our discussion points. So we'll get into Jack's favorite segment of the podcast, and that is the Aiden Bonner Club.
Alrighty, we've got a interesting week, Corey. A
I
very
like
interesting
I
week.
like interesting weeks.
It's heartbreak, It's shock and it's excitement. And we're going to go straight into it with the one vote this week. Um, we've got a man who is not the only person from this team to get a vote, and he plays for the Gold Coast Suns.
I thought
And in
you're gonna say West Coast.
no, surprisingly, no West Coast this week.
Lovely.
Pretty sure they had the bye.
So they all scored zero.
Oh yeah. So in 58 minutes and 56 seconds, with 7 Supercoach points, we have the man, the myth, the mustache, Alex Sexton.
Yes, the
Now,
mustache.
I could have said something a lot worse, so I went with the mustache to be safe. With 2 votes this week. In the negatives from the
Negatives.
GWS Giants in 16 minutes and 21 seconds. So you can say it's a bit harsh, but we said from the start a negative score, no matter the time limit, is a vote. Um, we have someone who everyone was jumping on because I'm pretty sure he's a rookie or a second year player that was very cheap. We have the man, the myth, Ryan Angwin, or Angwin,
Angwin,
however
yep.
you say it. Get around him. Now, this is where the heartbreak starts. We have a dirty double. One man is from the Gold Coast Suns. This is his second time being voted.
Oh.
In 40 minutes and 19 seconds, -4 Supercoach points. We have the worst brother out of the three, even though I don't think he's related, Thomas Berry.
He is related, but yes, Tommy.
And secondly, well, guess what? Surprisingly, another week, we have a Richmond Football Club member and 3 votes in 38 minutes and 59 seconds. Thank you, Samson Ryan, for doing your ankle for allowing this to happen. It's sad that you heard, but Aiden Bonner Club purposes, it's fantastic. We have the better looking Bailey Smith, the young trailblazing mullet man, Hugo Ralph Smith, who has also polled 3 Aiden Bonner Club votes with -4 Supercoach points. The rap god there.
Yes, Hugo, rap god.
Now, this might make you a little happy hearing this, but also very sad. We have had to do the Queen wave to a couple of Corey's favourite players in Daniel Mexday and Ash Johnson. They have been kicked out of third place,
Well done, boys.
replaced by Riley Garcia and Tyler Sonzi on 3 votes and -6 Supercoach points. Here's the shock. In second place, we've got a dirty double. We have Thomas Berry, who has pulled his 5th vote this week.
Damn.
And his lowest score of -4, which his other score was, I believe, 7 or 8. So it was a pretty harsh week for him to get the 2
Yeah, stiff.
week.
Stiff.
And the favourite, the man who all the bookies had put their money on, Noah Cumberland, with his -12, has dropped to second. Which means the better looking Bailey Smith and better 48 of Bonner Club, Hugo Ralph Smith, has jumped ahead of Noah Cumberland with 6 votes and -4 Supercoach points from this week, which his other score, if I go up real quick, it's not too far, it was only a couple of weeks ago. It was round 6, 2 weeks before Cumberland's great score. He scored 1 Supercoach point.
So
He's
deserves
got
that.
an average of -2 here.
Well, that is very surprising. We have a new leader of the Aiden Bonner Club.
And it could be a new leader next week as well if Thomas Berry plays and polls votes because Richmond have the bye.
True, true.
Come on, Thomas. Make me happy. But that also means for the first time this year, we have every spot on the leaderboard filled by one team. Now there's obviously Garcia and Berry in there, but we've got Tyler Sonzi third place for Richmond, Noah Cumberland second place for Richmond, and the better looking Bailey Smith first place from Richmond.
So
So
Richmond are at the new West Coast.
so pretty much Richmond's where they belong in ninth, and they're where they belong in the Adam Bonner Club. It's a perfect season to be a Richmond fan.
Well, on that note, Jack, I think that's going to do us for the podcast. Do you have any last words for the lovely people that have listened this far in?
Good luck, and I hope I jump above all of you.
Jack's, Jack's going to score 20,000 this week.
25,000 jumps first.
All right, well, that's going to do us for tonight's podcast. Thank you all for watching and listening on Apple Podcasts and or on YouTube. Don't forget to hit us up on Twitter at the Breakevens Pod, and also on hit that subscribe button on YouTube. On the road to 200 there. Let's try and get it up to 200 by the end of the season. Don't forget, we're on Facebook, Breakevens Pod. Give us a like and a follow there. It's another place you can find all of our content if you don't have us on Twitter. And we're about to go over and stream some Twitch. We're going to be playing some
Stream some Twitch. So, yes!
We're going to play Rocket League tonight, but next coming days, I'll probably play some more manager mode. So you can find us at the Breakevens on Twitch. Give us a follow over there. All right, so that is going to do us. Thank you again for watching and listening, and good luck for round 15. And until next week, it's bye for now.
See ya.